O'clock, we're gonna call this meeting to order, we're gonna do pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are guests, Madam President. What's that?
Small, is it? No. That's the way the papers are set up.
A little more elbow room. Okay.
It's over here. It's just different. Yeah, motion to. I go here, I go. I really want to.
You want to get any guests we have? What's there?
What? Or. Yeah, I'm sure.
Here.
Staff.
Thank you very much.
I'll stand and the staff sit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I have. Thank you.
Okay.
No son.
Oh, Madam President.
Yes.
There you go, Orlando. This is for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sign that.
You only got open, Jim.
Yeah, we gotta leave it open. Public meeting. Thanks, Jim. I created a list for you, Madam President.
Okay. We'll have roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Henry,
Right.
Mr. Parks. I'm sorry, Miss Parks. She's, excused in absence. Mr. Stanford, here. Mr. Ware, here. Mr. Watson, here. Ms. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Burl, here.
Shane, nice to meet you.
All right, we'll have recognition of staff and guests.
Madam President, for the record, I can announce the guests we have here. We have Mr. Carl Whalen, Mr. Bill Shea, and Mr. Ken Bowman here joining us as guests.
Dan Shea.
Dan Shea.
Dan Shea, yes.
I'm sorry, your name again, sir?
Dan Shea.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so, I know we have you on the agenda a little bit later, Paul, so do either of you gentlemen have something you'd like to say?
Well, we're up first.
You
Why,
are.
sure.
Well, this is going to be an extemporaneous talk then. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ken Bowman. I'm the surviving spouse liaison for the Military Officers Association of Cincinnati. This is Dan Shea. He is the membership chairman and technician extraordinaire for the event we had on November the 1st. Back in the summer, I came over to see Orlando to get his advice on the event that you had down at Great American Ballpark, which I understand that was a one-day event. Now we're going to be expanding that to a 3-day event. And I came in to ask Orlando and his team for advice on how he drew so many people to the event, because this was quite frankly it was called the Surviving Spouse event we had at the Red Cross building on November 1st. And you guys thought, hey, you have the Great American Ballpark. And when I first started this journey, I thought, let's try and have our event at Great American Ballpark and draw 300 or 400 people. But every time I turned around, they had their hand out, they were asking for money, et cetera. So when I was meeting with Orlando and Pam Meinzer, et cetera, he asked if we would be interested in a sponsorship. And I'm from Kentucky. I can't detect bright objects, so he suggested a figure and asked me to write a letter, which we did. And thank you very much. You were very generous in supporting sponsorship, and we actually made a little bit of money. I'll do that. The only request that Orlando had was, can we have 4 people coming instead of 2? And I said, thank you very much. We can make that happen. So we wanted to present a letter of appreciation, our certificate of appreciation. But before I do that, I wanted to give you our national director of MOA. MOA has 360,000 members. We have the largest advocacy organization in the country for veterans. And about 12,000 of our members are surviving spouses, about 40,000 people. And all of us are married are going to be surviving spouses at some point in time, and we need to prepare for that. But this is our national director for surviving spouses. Thanks to your contribution, she had some very nice things to say. She said the program was well thought out, really liked the way each presentation was built and expanded on previous presentation. Presenters were knowledgeable, entertaining, and easy to understand. It ran on time, was well controlled. Technology, thank you, Dan, was great. Slide views were clear and easy to read, flowed well with the presentation. Source materials which you provided were very plentiful, very educational, and a great way of expanding the information. He appreciated being able to take the time at length to talk to representatives of each participating organization, which was yours. Lunch was great. It was sponsored by Mission Barbecue. They contributed about 50%, and they just did absolutely a great job for us. I mean, perhaps you've used them in the past for different events that you've had, and they were wonderful. The Red Cross facility, they donated the space, and they were great to work with, plenty of room, good tech assistance, and restrooms were close by. So thank you for your contribution to the event. We had some certificates of appreciation that we wanted to give and to you. And the first certificate we would like to present was to the Veterans Service Commission, Hamilton County. And on behalf of the Veterans Service Commission, I asked Lee if he'd be willing to accept this. He said, this certificate of appreciation is in recognition of outstanding support leading to success of the military retiree, veteran spouse, and surviving spouse seminar of the Greater Cincinnati chapter of the Military Officers Association of America on November 1st, 2024. So this is to the Veterans Service Commission. So on behalf of MOA
Thank you.
and the Cincinnati chapter, we wanted to present that to you.
I didn't do anything but show up.
He showed up, he sat there and he took notes and behaved himself.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Did a fine job.
Appreciate it, did a great job.
Thank you.
And he came to our board meeting last Friday. The other certificate we would like to present is to Orlando Sanza, Executive Director. I'm glad you get to keep your job here, Orlando. For now, we're doing. So God bless you. Thank you for all your help.
Thank you.
So this is from you.
Thank you.
And we have a couple other certificates. One is for Pam Menzer. Is she here?
Yep.
Okay, I thought that was you, Pam. So thank you. This lady, there's always someone in the organization that knows all the answers, and Pam's been here for 3 years, is that right?
35 and a half.
35 and a half years. So Pam helped me out with the letter that the county requested, is that right?
Yeah.
And it just so happened that I had 2 pieces of stationery in the car, so we could get that letter taken care of. And that worked out well. And this is for Amber. Thank you very much for all your help. And Amber has reached out to Maple Knoll, is that correct? And we're trying to connect and do some things with them. So I guess we'd like to ask for a group picture for our newsletter for the people that we present certificates to. Can we make that happen? Or just with the whole group here, I guess that would be great. You know, just keep your seats. And let me give this to you, okay, Lee?
Thank you.
And are there any questions that you have about MOA, our organization here in Cincinnati? We have a very good chapter, very active chapter. If we can do anything to help you out with your event coming up in July, is that what you said? August, okay. We'll be happy to do that. One of the organizations that had an event like ours was a guy named Len Jelinek out in Las Vegas, and I just spoke with him this morning. They did a great veterans event out at Allegiant Stadium last June the 6th. And I don't know how many people showed up for it, probably several thousand. They partnered with organizations that contributed clothes and that type of thing, like what's the big box, that people like to, Costco donated clothing and that type of thing. So I'm reaching out to Len Yelenek to see if he can send us information that might be helpful in us, preventing doing our event.
Thank
And
you.
all this stuff.
Thank you.
I've got a phone here, camera.
Yeah, we'll take a quick picture here.
Take a quick
That's all right,
picture.
Madam President.
Who can be the photographer?
I'll be glad.
Would you be the photographer? Okay. How would you recommend we do this, Dan?
Let's just, get wherever we can.
Get whatever we can. So can you?
Sit in your bed.
Come this way a little bit.
Everybody just kind of squeeze in there.
With the flags in the background?
Okay.
All right, great.
Get back here.
Try to stay out of it. That's my way.
Yes, that's 4 feet.
Yeah, we can right there doing a photo op right now.
Oh,
So.
No, I'm saying.
Who's taking me behind the
I'm gonna my chair.
This is Bill High.
Bill.
That's him.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Bill.
Come on, Bill, real quick.
Let me get out of my, another director formally today.
No, I'm touching later.
Okay. He always looks good.
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Let's do 2 more. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3.
All right. Awesome, gentlemen. Thank you so much. And thanks for getting us on first. Appreciate it.
Check out
Well,
my.
here it is.
My car out there.
Anyway.
Go ahead and knock down the arm.
They got something.
Thank you.
I do have March.
And how many super campaigns you thinking?
That worked out for your timing, huh?
I got 3 out.
Worked out
Cause I
well.
was taking the tree to
We're done. Done? We're done.
No, you can sit down, sir. You can.
Well, he's with Moa, so, yeah.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll be sure about our.
Jonathan, something.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, Ken.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your work.
All right.
So we're still under, public comments. So
Yes.
Chief, you got anything you'd like to say?
Madam President, just as a formality, I realize that the agenda does not have an approval of agenda listed.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve the agenda for today.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the, agenda for the day. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hedden,
Yes.
Ms. Marks is absent. Mr. Rowland,
Yes.
Mr. Stanford,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Earl Michael, yes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we excuse Commissioner Parks from the meeting today.
Second.
I have a motion and seconded to excuse, Commissioner Parks, from the meeting today. She gave us notice ahead of time that she would not be here. Roll call, please.
Madam President, if I may, before roll call is taken, so I did review the commissioner training guidelines. Because we do have an 8-person board now, it is the chair's prerogative whether to actually do a roll call vote for each motion. The only thing that is required under the law for a roll call vote is the executive session, into executive session and out to executive session. So it's the prerogative of the chair, whether you like to call
So all in favor of excusing Victoria Parks, say yay.
it.
Yeah.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. Like I said before, Chief, you have anything you want to say while you're here? You?
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks for calling me chief.
Well, of course.
No, I just say good morning, everybody, and just happy to be.
Well, there you go. We're happy to have you here. All right, we're on to
I
approval.
got public comments.
I'm sorry?
I got comments.
Sure.
It has become notified by the association, there has been severe training irregularities with this commission. In contact with ODPS, we'll be finding out what is to be done with those. One being that a letter of training exemption was sent without this board's approval. A board president may not send a letter for training exemption without a majority of board vote.
Okay.
I could look into that, Madam President. Yeah. And report back to this committee.
Alrighty. Anything else?
Court's aware of it, and they are intently looking at it as well.
Alrighty.
Madam President, since there's no motion on it, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the training for the person,
The exemption.
the exemption.
Can't do it, it's already passed.
Madam President, I could look into it. I don't know if a precedence has been set by ODBS by accepting letters from either this commission or other commissions around the state, or letters signed by the president of the board, and that has been taken as action of the board itself. That's where my first thought goes, but I'll look into it.
It is a smart question to ask, but after consultation with other commissions who've sent the letters, they've all been approved by a majority of the board to send a letter.
Well, we don't know if that exactly is a fact or not. So we'll look into.
Well, it would be no different, unfortunately, how you guys voted to ask that I be removed. You guys had a majority vote. You are not authorized to send a letter on behalf of the commission without a majority vote.
Well, like I say, you'll look into it.
Yep.
All right. All right, so we're gonna move on to the approval of the minutes from the January 22nd, 25 meeting.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the minutes from January 22nd, 2025.
All right.
Any corrections?
I'll second.
And we have the motion duly seconded to have the approval of the minutes for the January 22nd, 25 meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Old business.
President Van acquisition. First and foremost, I do want to bring the attention of the board in trying to stand up a more robust transportation program for this commission. The acquisition of the 22-foot van that is outside, fully wrapped, ready to go once we hire part-time drivers. I did look into what would be required to stand up a transportation manager by asking our sister county VSCs in Southwest Ohio. The consensus was a part-time transportation manager would be sufficient, especially as we try to just start this a van acquisition process. So I have promoted our longtime VSO, James Massey, to serve as transportation manager. He'll serve in that capacity, in a part-time capacity, while still fulfilling his duties as a seasoned veteran service officer. He's doing a great job already. He's helped with this van acquisition. He's helped see it through, and I believe he's going to be a valuable asset to the management team. So thank you for your work, James.
Right. Congratulations.
And if you'd like to say a few words, James, kind of give a little highlight of the van that's outside, which will be available for viewing after this meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Orlando, thank you again. I'm blessed just to be even a part of the office. I've been a VSO for Hamilton County for coming up on 6 years. Previously, I was a bailiff for the Hamilton County Court of Courts for about 6.5 years. We're moving forward. Transportation department is needed. Our van is ready to go. It's out front, handicap accessible, doorstep pickup, via medical center delivery. We can fit 3 wheelchairs in the van, plus 6 more passengers, cameras. You can stand up in the van. You know, so it's needed. We're moving forward. Eventually, we'll have a fleet of other vehicles to provide better service. Nick is out front. He is available to answer any other questions about the van, about the capabilities of the lift and, cameras and whatnot. Again, I just received it this morning, so I don't know all the details about the van, but, I'd love to all pick it up together when we have time at the meeting.
Thank you, James.
One question, madam. Where will the van be parked at?
Currently, for the time being, it is gonna be a paved lot, a block and a half away from our building.
Okay.
So that's subject to change, especially, obviously when we move,
Right.
that's gonna change. But that's subject to change, in the coming months, but for the time being, that's what's gonna have to work.
Okay.
We're gonna have a conversation with Nick today to ask him if American Bus is also willing to just house the van until we get the drivers in place. It needs to have a catalytic converter cover installed on it today
Mhm.
so that we prevent theft. So in the meantime, James is correct that before we move to the Mercy Health building, we'll need to think about physical security for the van. There is the Mercy Health building lot, but it's a distance away from the office, so it's not in immediate proximity. The other alternative is that paid lot, which is, how much is it a month? $250 a month. It would be 2 spots that we'd need to.
Because it's a 22-foot van, so we're paying for 2 spots, but for the immediate, it's an option, but long term, it's not going to be long term for us.
Have we thought about parking it at the VA, trying to,
That's another option
yeah,
too.
to look it down, because, they can park their car at the VA, get
Yes,
in
sir.
the van and do what they got to do. And there, it's a courtesy because we working with the VA, so I don't see it should be a problem.
And security there
Yeah,
as well.
from my perspective, and plus it got security
Mhm.
and, so I would like to see that checked into about,
I'll look into that.
okay, thank you.
That's a very good.
Talked with
Thank you.
Ed, I've talked to him about it in the past.
Okay, very good. Thank you, James.
About a year ago, I met with James and asked him, as a new commissioner, what was it that I could do to help the VSOs in the office? And he came up with 2 ideas, which I passed on to the board at that time. One of the ideas was to add vehicles to our fleet, 2 vehicles. And the other idea was to add at least 2 VSO officers to the staff as well. And I think with his recommendation and our work, James, both of those have been accomplished, and your ideas was a good idea, and we'll stay open to any suggestions that any other staff member has. It's a good one.
Mr. Burrow, we go ahead.
Yeah, so James, so I understand you oversee all the transportation operation now, correct?
Yes.
Are we engaging the Metro Now program?
We have been. That's been in place, the Metro Access. So currently, in the past several months, if a veteran calls in for transportation, we've had the bus passes in place or Metro Access, which they can possibly come to the doorstep of the veteran and pick them up and transport them. So that is still going to be an option if the veteran prefers that method. Now, we're going to do all we can do, but, with just having one van starting out, we're still going to be limited. So that's going to be a secondary option or a reimbursement option for travel, that the veteran might pay for a third-party traveler. So, but yeah, we do have communication with Metro.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right. Any other questions about the van acquisition? Not moving on to 2025 forward March event.
Yeah, for the 2025, the update on our appreciation event that has now been by the planning committee's decision has now been formally known as Forward March. We have Amber, our high-speed, low-drag outreach manager, provide an update on Forward March. planning.
Thanks.
So I went to the chair, the branding and the logo that we voted, we decided for our, new event in partnership with AUSA, DAV, and VA. And understanding that our logo will be, look front right for all things brand. But this is a joint approach, so we wanted to make sure that our branding reflected that.
I can share, man, and help see it, yeah.
Thank you.
On this joint approach, are we the only ones shooting our pocketbooks for this, is the AUSA?
Yes,
What is
AUSA,
their contribution?
so because they are a 501(c), and they sponsor their events through sponsorship. And they have a good relationship with several companies that they use every year for their event. So they will still be, utilizing that sponsorship to fund their portions of this event, which would be most of the things that will be happening at Sawyer Point. Because the GAVP is our event still, it'll stay the same as 2024, but with adding the 3 days and then the joint event on that Saturday, they will be assisting with the sponsorship efforts.
Right? Is there any other questions?
Logo looks great.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, good job.
All right, moving on to new business. Committee assignments. Lee, you wanted to talk about this?
Please reschedule me for next month.
I'm sorry?
Please reschedule me for next month's meeting. I'm not prepared to put forth my report at this point.
Okay. All right, well, you can talk about it next month.
Please.
I do have a committee that I want to appoint. I hereby want to appoint Commissioner Richard Hedden to serve as the chair of the newly formed Governance Committee. The Governance Committee will be authorized to take all necessary actions to assess, develop, recommend best practices for the board, defines, executes, and oversees its duties and responsibilities. As the committee chair, Commissioner Hedden is permitted to appoint up to 3 additional commissioners to serve on the Governance Committee with the chair. The Governance Committee is required to update the board at every regularly scheduled meeting on the committee's progress. I, as the board president, reserve the right to dissolve the committee at any time if I don't feel that the committee is serving to the best of our interests.
That's right.
Thank you. And you can pick your own people and report back to us at our next meeting, please.
Sure will, thank you.
Okay. ODVS County Veterans Commission Personnel Report for 2025. Orlando, please report on that for us.
I believe Commissioner Burwinkle had asked this to be added onto the agenda. It's just to provide this board guidance on what reports is regularly scheduled to be submitted and sent to ODVS. The first one for an annual report would be the County Veterans Commission Personnel Report for 2025. That's always due at the end of February. It's just a report that lists the current members of the board, what their appointing authority is, their contact information, and then also the staff count for the county VSO. So that'd be the first report due to ODVS in Q1 this year. The second report is always due in March. It's called a county activities report. It just reports the prior year's activities based on claims work and financial assistance cases that we take on. So that report will also be prepared. And so the staff will be able to brief the board or will provide a copy of that report before it's sent to ODVS. Any of your questions?
Those are just necessary reports that have to go to the state.
Annual, yes.
We're just making everyone aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay, the next thing on the agenda, I'm sorry.
I just want to comment. So moving forward, you'll provide the committee, advance notice on all major reports that are required.
Actually, yes, with this new, my understanding, Madam President, with your appointed governance committee, if I heard it correctly, it's to oversee the duties and responsibilities of the board. This is one of the duties and responsibilities, such as these reports, and I can brief the governance committee chair and the rest of the committee, and they can provide the updates. Okay, we do it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Next on the agenda is the Hamilton County Veteran Service Commission's sponsorship policy. We need a policy, for as many, requests that we're receiving on a daily, weekly, monthly basis of people wanting us to help them with their events. It was a good idea to have a way that we can decide, what fits for us. The outline is, in your packet there. I'd like everybody to, take a few minutes and review it. And then, I would like to entertain a motion that we, accept, this, as a sponsorship policy. I think it'll, alleviate a lot of problems. And, yeah.
Has this been reviewed by the county prosecutor?
It is not, but such policies, it's been brought to the attention to the county prosecutor for prior policies, that is the discretion of the board. Any sort of policies are the discretion of the board.
And we've erred on all of that stuff to have that stuff sent to the prosecutor in the past. So I don't know why we would want to deviate from our precedent.
I don't understand.
Any policies that we've written in this commission, since you've been appointed as the executive director and since I've been on this, have been sent to the county prosecutor. Why would we deviate from that policy now?
I think you're referencing an HR policy manual.
It's still a policy. I'm speaking in general. It's still a policy that wants to be implemented. I think it would be prudent to have the county prosecutor review it.
So just like I explained to you, Commissioner, it's not a requirement. The background for this sponsorship policy is, as we've had in 2024, a lot of third-party entities asking this commission for sponsorship dollars so that we don't operate under some sort of arbitrary metric and give one entity X amount of dollars and another entity X amount of dollars with no actual transparent, fair, and consistent framework for determining those dollars. I've created this draft metric to use for that sponsorship policy. Again, a recommendation to the board, whether you all approve it or not. It looks at specific criteria. There is here 7 criteria to look at. How aligned this entity is to the HCVSC's mission, how many veterans it seeks to impact with this sponsorship request, the financial need and budget transparency, how transparent they are with their budget for their event, their organizational track record, how credible they are as an organization, their collaboration with other partnerships, or are they just looking to us for their single source of partnership? Geographic impact, are they directing benefits to Hamilton County veterans only or outside of the region? And then also, how sustainable is the event or program? Is this a one-time event or is it highly sustainable? The reason for that is the assigning of points. We assign the points with the staff's input, especially our outreach manager, because this is within Ms. Indubisi's lane. We would then assign maximum sponsorship dollars. I've laid out here guidance for what those dollars could be. Looking back to 2024, this commission has not sponsored more than $10,000 to one single entity. I believe that's a good precedence that this commission has set, that we not go beyond $10,000 for a single entity, or up to 50% of the total project cost, so that we are not underwriting a single event, unless it is truly our event. So as you see there, $10,000 or up to 50% of total project cost. And then that goes down in amount. The application review process is made clear there. They submit a formal request directed to, with the detailed proposal and budget to the director. The staff does an initial screening for completeness and eligibility. One of the eligibility criteria is it must be a 501c3 entity or a government entity like a municipality. The matrix is used to score. A recommendation then based on the score is presented to this board. The board then makes the final decision for approval, not the staff. And then a new factor, it's a post-event program report that we ask of the entity, that they report back to us how the money was spent, what the outcome was, how many veterans that they actually impact. And then, of course, that this board reserves the right to adjust sponsorship amounts based on budgetary constraints and unique circumstances of each request. Pending your question.
I think this is an excellent policy. A couple comments. Under collaborative opportunities and partnerships, will we be gathering detailed information on who attends the event with a thought that we can take and use it to build our database to better communicate with veterans in Hamilton County?
Yes, Commissioner. Yep.
Okay.
We'll look into that.
And then in a future secretary, what I like to request is that, so I can give every commissioner the opportunity to have some time to look at this stuff. The president and I are going to work together on the agenda. We'll have that agenda out at least a week prior to the meeting with the draft minutes and all attachments on everything we're going to review at the meeting, which I think will give us a better opportunity to go through a thought process on all this stuff.
Yes, Commissioner.
Moving on, right? Sorry,
Week enough?
I am.
Good. Thanks, boss.
Madam President,
Commissioner Watson?
in the financial need and budget transparency, I would like to make a suggestion or even an addition to your matrix, that in addition to reviewing readily available, locally available financial documents, that we take a look at formal reports by credit agencies such as Charity Navigator or CreditWise. There's several of the agencies that specialize. Some give general reports, some give more detailed report. And we make at least one of those reports a part of our packet and review the analysis of that report along with your recommendation for approval or disapproval.
Well, I think it's a very good idea because we do have a responsibility to manage our budget. We also have a responsibility to the Hamilton County taxpayers to make sure that we're spending any money the right way, in the best light of all veterans that live in Hamilton County. So I think those reports are very, they contain knowledge in there that maybe we want to know about. So I think we should do something like that.
Yes.
All right, does anyone else have anything they want to add? And also, don't forget, as we move along, if we need to make changes in this policy, we can, okay? But we need something to go by. We need a guideline. We need to have some light shine on this because we're getting many requests, and we just want to make sure that we're doing the right. So I will entertain a motion to accept this sponsorship policy.
Make a motion that we accept this policy with any corrections that was, put forth at the meeting and come back to the next meeting with the whole thing. I'm sorry.
So what is this motion? Are we voting to approve this? Because you just said we could come back and review it.
No, I said, we approve this with the corrections. With the corrections.
Yeah, but we have numerous corrections that we
Yeah,
discussed.
it's two.
There's two.
Yeah, but still, again, I would object to the fact that we are gonna deviate from our standard norm and not ask the county prosecutor to look at this. We've asked them to look at every other policy.
Can I ask, Commissioner, what's the basis for, you're saying with this specific policy that
Don't
you
think there's
find?
anything wrong with the policy. I would just rather have somebody look at it and say, it's okay, as we've asked with every other policy we've instituted, whether it's HR or not, we've asked the county prosecutor to take a look at it. I don't think that would delay anything since we are already making changes. What's the difference between making a vote today, which with the recommendations from Commissioner Watson and stuff like that, they're not even in this written thing. So, that's not the policy as it is, because now what we have is a piece of paper that goes to recycling because it's now no
Well,
longer.
we can go ahead
was
and
written.
approve this policy with the stipulation that the prosecutor's office is going to look at it. And if they have any recommendations, we can bring it back to the next board meeting.
Do that too, Madam President, and I'll note for this commission is that there is a precedence of this commission approving a policy, and there were changes recommended in a board meeting, and the policy was still approved. For instance, the HR policy manual was approved with a suggested change from Commissioner Watson that we specify in the policy that any firings of any employees be done only at the discretion of the board. That was done at the board meeting. The policy was approved. The change was made. The manual was sent to each commissioner and it was put in place. The other thing too is that there's a policy during the last snowstorm that with consultation with the board president, we put a emergency policy in place that the staff be permitted to work from home. That was a policy that was put in place. It was not cleared by the prosecutor, but it was approved by the director with consultation of the president, and that was a policy.
Yeah,
Again, the discretion of this board is to institute policies. It's already been cleared by the chief of the civil division of the prosecutor's office that policies are at the discretion of the board. They do not.
so let me understand this, Director Sanza. You say you instituted a policy without this board's approval. Is that correct? With consultation from the board president, who is one of 8 commissioners, who has no more authority than any one of these commissioners. Did you say you instituted a policy? Is that correct?
An emergency work from home policy, yes.
But it was not approved for by this board, correct? Which is the law.
No, as the director, you have the discretion in the HR manual for certain activities, including emergency situations that.
So how can we then consult with the rest of the commission?
I don't understand your question, Commissioner.
We are all commissioners, correct? So how come we were not consulted in this policy?
I'll give back to the chair, Madam President.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. We got a motion and a second to approve the sponsorship policy.
If I may, Madam President, I just caution Commissioner Burwinkle, this is a budgetary impact. If you'd like to recuse yourself from this vote and just require a second motion from another commissioner, this is a budgetary.
Okay,
I'll second.
thanks for the reminder.
I'll second. Thank you.
Thanks for the
Thank you,
second.
Commissioner Work. All right. So this will be a roll call vote.
Excuse me. We should go into discussion.
You have something else you want to add?
I don't have something else, I have something. This issue of whether or not we send policies, carte blanche, or all in mass to the county, assistant county prosecutor for their review is totally at the discretion of this board. This board extended an invitation to the Hamilton County prosecutor to have someone attend our meetings. But these meetings are clearly our meetings, and the opinions of the assistant prosecutor are opinions that are their opinions based on their interpretation. But that invitation to have them attend is ours to make and ours to not make. And whether or not we make referrals to them is ours to decide and ours not to decide. So we have that authority. And it isn't some policy external to this commission that guides us. We choose what we want to do as a commission. And it isn't something that we're locked in the concrete when we do that. We basically invite them to attend, but the functioning of the committee is ours.
All right. Any other discussion?
I would agree with you with that, Commissioner Watson, but why not utilize the resources who have expertise when available to us? To not do so would be,
I have no objection. But I don't want us locked into.
I wasn't trying to lie, it was just a precedent that we've already set numerous times, and I would hate to deviate from that.
But we have, it's ours to decide.
Okay, we need to move on. We're gonna do a vote. Thank you.
It's a roll call.
Yes, it is.
Can I do a roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
You just can't vote.
Easy then. Mr. Hedden,
Yes.
Ms. Parks is absent. Mr. Rowland,
Yes.
Mr. Stanford,
No.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
I respectfully recuse myself.
Okay,
We
moving on.
got,
New Life Furniture Bank.
Yes.
did you vote?
I'm sorry.
Did you vote?
Yes, I did. New Life Furniture Bank.
New Life Furniture Bank is a nonprofit entity that I heard about during the last executive director's crosstalk for Southwest Ohio. Montgomery County VSC has partnered with New Life Furniture Bank. I'd like to turn over the floor to our outreach manager, Amber Ndubisi, who's also there at the visit at New Life Furniture Bank to tell more about New Life.
So I became familiar with this organization when I worked in another capacity for the state. So New Life is a nonprofit organization that actually started in the living room. So what happens is that you have to, in order to utilize this service, you have to be referred from a partner in AD. And they have different levels of partnership, starting at 10. So if a veteran, like we have 9 veterans now that were a part of the house fire, if we were to be able to assist them, we could assist them with furniture. And you go in at a level of sponsorship, and that's a yearly, an annual amount, and then there is a delivery amount as well that is collected prior to delivery. And they have a small package and a large package. You get semi-used furniture, it's really nice furniture, as well as new furniture, because they do have a workshop that volunteers build furniture in as well. Anyone is open to take a tour. They actually recommend that you do, so that you can see the type of furniture and the process as well. When we're looking at the partner agencies with New Life, I believe there's less than 5 veteran organizations, and only 7% of their the people that receive their services are veterans. So this is something that we want to be able to offer to our veterans in Hamilton County, because we do get a lot of requests for furniture, be it destruction, moving, overcoming homelessness, and needing furniture. We get these type of requests. So this will be an opportunity for us to partner with this agent and be able to help our veterans to get furniture.
If I can add as well, so directing your attention to, I know it's a robust packet. Commissioner Burwinkle has told me that we need to condense presentation material moving forward. I want to give you as much information as possible. What in this packet here, entitled New Life Furniture Bank 2025 Partner Agency Agreement, if you turn to the second to last page, it's a schedule, a fee schedule. Just like Amber explained, there is a partner fee. It's a one-time annual fee, and it depends on how many clients, in our case veterans, we want to support. So if we wanted to support 10 or less, the fee annually is $250. If we wanted to support 201 or more veterans, it's a one-time annual fee of $2,500. And then after that, it's for every veteran that we want to support. For example, looking at the referral fee, we would be in zone 1 because our Hamilton County New Life Furniture Bank is located in Blue Ash. So we are conveniently in zone 1. It's the least expensive zone. If we wanted to help furnish a small apartment to include 10 pieces of furniture, it would only be a one-time cost of $275 for those 10 pieces of gently used furniture, including delivery. We don't need to do anything else. New Life would deliver the furniture, would set up the furniture, and that veteran is on their way to moving forward with their life. So the recommendation I have for the board is that we approve. Again, I think the staff and I would need to assess for this year, 2025 being the first year, of how many veterans we would be able to support. I'd be consulting with our 2 managers, Amber and Jim, with the finance department, because this would be a financial assistance request. We'd still process this with the same criteria of, are they an honorably discharged veteran? Are they in emergency financial need? For example, news broke out this weekend of a fire in Cheviot, and 9 veterans were displaced. They happened to be homeless. HUD-VASH was supporting them. In the event that one of these veterans needed to move into more permanent housing and was in need of gently used furniture, this could be a way to help that veteran. So I'd ask the board for a vote to approve a partnership with New Life Furniture Bank not to exceed the $2,500 annual fee. Again, we'd have to make a determination based on a staff on what level we'd want to start out with, but it would not to exceed $2,500, and it would still be run as a financial assistance request per veteran.
All right, does anyone have any questions about this program? Any thoughts?
What kind of parameters are you gonna put on, the items chosen?
So we don't have that, but that's not our decision. It's not, you can't even pick out the furniture. It's just a small package or a large package. And then that would include living room, dining room, 1 or 2 bedrooms.
The only thing that we have discretion for is bedding, if
Correct.
we need a new bed.
If we need, and then we have that opportunity as well, that we could purchase new items at a discounted price as well. The only thing that has to be new, per the safety requirement, is cribs. So if we purchase a crib or a bunk bed, those items have to be new. They cannot be used.
I know that
Does that answer your question?
Cleveland has something similar. It's called Cava, and they do great work.
Yeah.
I mean, people,
Yeah.
people need a bed to sleep on. Kids need a bed. So, anyways, if anyone else has any questions, I'll entertain a motion to donate up to $2,500
Make that
to the
motion.
New Life Furniture Bank. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, the question, yes. On the schedule 1, zone 1, 250, is that per person?
Yes.
And then they would have to come down here and put in for it? What would be the process of that?
Yeah, so the vetting of the client is done at the discretion of our office. We would only need to contact New Life when the client has already been vetted and approved by us. They schedule the delivery, they deliver the furniture. So we have the discretion to vet the client as we choose. And that's why the suggestion is we run this as a financial assistance application, since we already have a process for vetting those clients.
Okay, yeah, according to that, thank you.
All right,
About the money.
Yes, sir.
You got 2 categories of $2,500. You got one here for 200 paper for 201 moves or more a year. And then we have 2,500, which I think is what you're saying is the cap that we should spend in 1 year.
No, sir. No, I'm suggesting the first cap, that we approve a partnership not to exceed the 2,500.
Well, I'm dealing with 2,500.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying take this $2,500 and be paid for 201 more moves. You're saying this is the cap for the year, and then we spend these monies based on the move.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I got it. I understand.
Okay, any other questions? This is a, like, financial spending money. We'll need a roll call, please.
I've got a motion.
Mr. Hadden,
Yes.
Mr. Parks is absent, Mr. Rowland,
Yes.
Mr. Stanford,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
I abstain.
Motion carried. Okay, let's see. We paid for this year.
You got it.
There we go. All right, and now, okay, Carl's up. Or talk to us about the Heroes Honky Tonk Benefit Concert.
Madam Chair, thank you. Commissioners, Executive Directors, Sansa, thank you. And other guests, thank you for having me today. My name is Carl Whalen. I'm the founding president for Heroes Honky Tonk Benefit Concert, unofficially DBA Heroes Benefit Concert. The motto is Rock the Night, Honor the Brave. So what is Heroes Benefit Concert? It is a 501c3 entity stood up by myself, several veterans, and retired first responders. The intent behind the event is twofold. One, to end the stigma upon mental illness and how it plagues our veterans and our first responders, and help them promote to seek help where they need it. Second part is to fundraise for several charities that have proven track records to actually tackling suicide and mental health issues among our heroes. The event, the Heroes Benefit Concert, takes place September 13, 2025 at the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, in Hamilton County. The concert genre will be rock or country rock, and ZZ Top is currently slated to be our headliner. This is not public information, so please keep it in the meeting. Jay DeMarcus, the frontman for Rascal Flatts, is also our special guest. And we'll also have a few other bands we're working currently and diligently to assign. The intention of the event is, like I said, is to eliminate the stigma on mental health illness for PTSD, depression, etc., and on seeking treatment for those issues. We also intend to fundraise support for several veteran and first responder serving charities that tackle both mental health and wellness as well as physical wellness with their programs and initiatives. Our goal, though, is, pretty eager, is to give each organization that's standing to benefit from the concert $50,000 from the proceeds from the concert, from ticket sales. Charity standing to benefit, before I get about who, I'm going to say the why. Competition, nature, and corporate world is very healthy. Okay, that's part of capitalism. That's how our country is founded upon, right? Competition among charities for vying for the same dollar should not be healthy. It's not considered healthy, in my opinion. I think collaboration between organizations that tackle the issues together will lead to overall growth and success. Every single organization that stands to benefit has a proven track record to address our heroes' needs directly with their programs. All have been thoroughly vetted by us. We've requested their most recent 990s and a thorough impact statement. We've required that their programs be reviewed for efficacy, as well as gotten some testimonials from some of the charities. All as though they've been vetted, some of the organizations have gross receipts less than $100,000 in a year. Giving an organization less than that, $50,000, is trajectory changing for that charity, allowing for a vast impact. A majority of these charities serve the footprint of the tri-state, but some of them will serve nationally or regionally, depending on who they are. An example of an organization that's benefiting would be Save a Warrior. Many of you have probably heard about them. To date, they have a 97% efficacy against preventing suicide from those attending their programs. It's not a magic pill program, it's a long-term program. It costs $5,000 per seat for a veteran or first responder to sit in that program. And it's not just a 3-day, it's a long-term program. I myself am one that actually went through the program for PTSD, and I can speak on this efficacy. My life has changed dramatically over not just my wife and mine's relationship, my relationship with my children, my business relationships, and everything else, as well as internally. And that's just me speaking on Save a Warrior. The charities standing to benefit are listed before you. Back to Heroes Rumble, Warriors Next Adventure, We Defy Foundation, Save a Warrior, Camp Hero Kentucky, The Shield Ohio, Tri-State Face Team, and the Adventures X222 out in Florida. Before I get into sponsorships, I want to tell you guys, with these organizations, they're not just tackling suicide. Back to Heroes Rumble, you may have heard that name before when you guys supported a toy drive for that organization. They served over 1,000 children with toys and supplies, not as a need-based program, but as a way to show them that the community's got their six. And unfortunately, sad reality is in our military community especially, it wound up becoming a need because there's low income. You guys are set here to serve veterans. I will speak to you today when I say Warriors Next Adventure, We Defy Foundation, Save a Warrior, Camp Hero Kentucky, and the X22 Adventures exclusively have served more veterans than the rest of those organizations, but they also serve first responders. So those are the charities that stand to benefit from the concert. Cumulus Media is our media partner for the event. So any sponsor that sponsors this event is going to get geo-targeted dollars in exposure as based on the sponsorship level that the entity sponsors. And then you can see the levels listed next on the sheet there below. I did make a note based on your guys' presentation for your sponsorship, for you guys evaluating things. Our total budget for the concert is $450,000. 300 of that of which is for the musicians. The rest of it's just to cover the expense for renting the facilities over at Heritage Bank Center, the covering costs for expected costs for media expense for us, both Cumulus Media as well as for things like banners, etc., as well as the VIP room, fitting that with food and things like that for the ticket goers, as well as the sponsors. This will be $1 million grossing concert, thus leading us to a successful point where we're going to be able to self-sustain this concert. We intend this to be an annual event. And September being a suicide awareness month, it's the perfect month to actually have the event. Because one suicide is one too many. So if we could come together as a group and collaborate to serve that need for this community, not just Hamilton, but for abroad, we would really save some lives. And let every single fallen hero know that they'll never also be forgotten. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or Carl?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I'm looking at Kentucky, this is for Hamilton County. And I'm looking at first responders, this is for veterans. These dollars allocated directly for that. And for me, and from my perspective, that I'm here for Hamilton County veterans and Hamilton County veterans alone. I'm not here for a Kentucky thing, and I take my hat off for suicide and all like this, but for what I was appointed for here was to represent Hamilton County veterans and the dollars allocated within the Hamilton County realm. And another thing is that we have a event coming right before yours here, a 3-day event. Mm-hmm. And we need to look at that, instead of partnering with somebody instead of sponsoring a group, because we got big things going on here in Hamilton County with veterans and veterans families. For first responders, I take my hat off to them, but I'm not here to serve first responders, and all this. And it made me understand, how do you allocate the dollars different from a first responder, a veteran, military, because I'm confused.
Okay, so to clarify one question I hear, you're wondering why this entity would want to sponsor an event that isn't exclusively for veterans and exclusive for Hamilton County. I will challenge that and say Hamilton County, Cincinnati is like the major city in this county, right? Right. The event occurs in Hamilton County, right on your foot down, okay? The event is going to showcase, this is unlike any other event out there, in this area especially. This event's going to showcase and highlight the prevalent issue on suicide and mental health issues as it plagues our veterans. Yes, first responders are going to be served as well because there are other entities that serve first responders. But I must tell you that a majority of the people that we're going to be speaking to are the veteran community, especially with this concert. It's exactly why ZZ Top got involved, because they are very much in love with supporting veteran initiatives. So there's that part. Now your next question, if I may ask you to repeat again for me so I can make sure I can
It
answer.
was about, Camp Hero in Kentucky.
Veteran-led organization. He's a former first responder who actually got ran over in the line of duty putting out stop sticks. After his recovery, he decided as a Navy veteran, he wanted to do something that helped veterans and first responders with suicide, and it's his own program that he runs down in Kentucky. But Kentucky's our neighbor. A lot of our veterans come from Kentucky to come to events in Hamilton County. This is a really good way for this county, for this commission, to put its foot forward to say, not on our watch, one suicide is one too many. And the many charities that you see there, I can tell you that at least 6 of those are in the tri-state area. So, and being in the heart of the tri-state and the event taking place where it is, I felt as though it was a prudent opportunity for me to lend to the Hamilton County Veterans Service Commission to support it.
Madam President, thank you, Mr. Whalen, for
Yes,
the
sir.
presentation. If the board would allow, Penny, your additional questions, the staff to review the request more formally, and then also just run this through our new sponsorship policy matrix, and then provide a adequate recommendation to the board. And then reach out to you if we have additional questions.
Yes, sir.
So, Orlando, if I might interject, what I like to see is a list of the sponsors from last year's event.
This is our first one.
Oh, your first one.
Yeah.
Okay, so a list of who you think your sponsors are gonna be.
Well, we already have JTM on board. Cumulus Media is our media partner, so sponsor in kind for the exposure dollars for the marketing aspect for the sponsors.
Do we already provide all that? to-
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
I can let you know who I've also reached out to as well, other entities.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's not a
So
problem.
I'll be getting with you, Carl.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is at Heritage Bank.
Yes, sir.
Sound like a great event.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Carl this time? Okay, if not, we're gonna move on to, any commissioners have any updates?
Ma'am, I'm actually gonna use myself as a VSO at a private appointment for claim work, so I'm gonna step out.
Sir?
Did anybody have any other questions about transportation or anything I can be able?
The band's gonna stay out.
All your hard work.
Yes.
Goes. Right. Thank you, James.
Right. Any commissioners have any updates? Okay.
I've got,
Dr. Sansa, you have a update?
yes, ma'am, thank you. So I'd just like clarity from the board on guidance as we get, we're getting a lot of requests for sponsorships, which is good. Word is getting out about our mission expanding as a Veteran Service Commission. We're also getting additional requests pretty frequently on continuous advertising, whether it's radio, additional TV advertising. The staff and I would like guidance on how this board would like to proceed for additional advertising for 2025. What I've been telling these entities is that we went through a 2025 advertising plan. It is subject to change by the board. I'm happy to present if they'd like, but it's now becoming a lot of it is redundant. It's things that we're already doing. For example, one request, it is at a good price, but again, we're already on billboards. But you have here, Lamar has right now a deal for the 4 largest digital billboards that are on the main interstates. We're right now on small panel billboards. Lamar has offered for the 4 largest digital billboards on I-75, I-71, I-74. And then on top of that, 4 additional panel billboards, so a total of 8 for price of $9,999, running for this month only, starting today until March 11th, for $10,000. That request has come in. So pending whether this board would like us to be on digital billboards, but then also just guidance on how to move forward with additional advertising for the current year.
Are we currently using an ad agency to help guide us?
We are not. For this year, what I did was I gleaned from kind of the advice and counsel of the other executive directors that have been using a robust marketing plan. Butler County, Warren County, Claremont County, they all advise that really to start up where we haven't been in the recent past, having 1 TV station, a couple of radio stations, and perhaps billboards. So that's what was presented in December, this board approved. It was, I believe, 20 or so small billboards. It was 1 TV station that runs only digital, and that's Spectrum. And then it's also 3 radio stations. I had proposed, I'd given a proposal for 4. The board decided on 3. That is Urban 1 or Radio 1, iHeart, and then also Cumulus. And then Cumulus is also doing our website advertising and banner advertising on social media. So that's what we're doing for 2025. For 2026, I would suggest that we look into hiring a consultant ad agency who's experts on this lane. But again, I think that can be pushed for 2026 with planning to start in the summer.
Do we have any samples of what types of digital messages might be sent out?
Yeah, so it can change at any time because it's digital. So the good thing about the digital billboards is that we can change it at any time. As we get closer to our August event, we can tailor the digital advertising for the event coming up. We do have one already teed up because they have our artwork for the panel billboards already. The one that says support veterans. And then it's got a veteran in fatigue saluting. So that's ready to go. It could start today, but then we can always change the digital.
And this fee is for so many billboards for how long?
It's only for 1 month.
So we're paying 10, so they're asking us to spend 10,000 for that 1 month of display.
As a frame of reference, this I don't know what the regular cost is for digital billboard, but if my memory serves me right, it's the reason why we didn't pitch digital billboards is because they are a lot more expensive traditionally than the panel billboard. So this is a sale, if you will.
Okay. What I'm saying is if they're only going to make it available for 1 month, that's not going to cover our Great American, not a Great American, our Veterans Appreciation event then later on.
It won't, but in March or now, we can do a early advertising kind of a heads up, mark your calendar. Just as an example, I mean, if we have an event like a financial literacy workshop, we can advertise that on the digital billboard.
Can you, let's assume that we were to do it during the first quarter of this year. Can you project what costs might be for the next 3 quarters or the next 3 quarters? And in terms of how it impacts our budget on an annual basis?
I can get that analysis for you. Yes, sir. I don't have that.
I like the idea, but I just trying to get a handle on what it's gonna cost.
Lee and I agree with your thought process. If we're gonna spend that kind of money, I'd rather pump it right around the event versus right now. So the current billboards we have, are they the urban billboards or are they one location?
They are rotating. Correct, Amber? They rotate on a weekly basis. It runs the plan we did was an annual plan, but the billboard does not stay in a fixed location, in the same location for more than a week. And it rotates.
11 locations, I believe.
I'm sorry.
I believe it's 11 locations.
Okay,
That they rotate.
yeah.
Could you provide us the locations?
Yeah, we have that from the last briefing, yeah. We have that too.
Okay,
Thank you.
any other discussion on this?
So what I'm hearing, Madam President, is look into perhaps this,
Later date.
if this sale is available closer to the August event, yeah,
At the sale price.
at the sale price.
Just for, in case you didn't see it in your packet, this is the, ROTC unit that we, purchased the flags and the, rifles for. So they sent us a nice picture.
Is it Mount Hill? I mean,
Aiken High School.
Yeah.
Madam President, just two more things real quick. One is office space. So as we look to bring on the part-time drivers, and then also if we're looking to bring on additional staff to prepare for the move to the Mercy Health Building, we're here in this building for the next year. Pretrial Services, greatly thank them for allowing us to utilize their conference room here. I think it's a great location for the time being. Asking the board whether the board is inclined to convert our current conference room to put cubicle spaces in there. I've talked to facilities. Facilities can outfit the room to put up to 4 cubicles in that conference room. And then Pretrial Services has offered this conference room to be our conference room until we move to the new building. That way we've got space for these part-time drivers and additional staff. And that could be done pretty easy, pretty quickly, they said.
You need a motion for that?
I think so, yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we convert our existing conference into the cubicles.
Okay, we have a motion to,
I'll second that motion.
okay, and a second to convert the current conference room into some more offices by cubicles, where we have space for our drivers and any additional staff that we may hire before we move. Is there any discussion? Yes.
That's what I assume would come with a price tag, so it would be a financial vote. Is that correct?
Yes. I was right.
Perhaps, yes, if we to purchase the cubicle walls and desks.
Some items they said they would have, more
Sure.
than likely, other things we would have to.
So it would be a minimal cost. to do
So,
It
yeah.
still would be a cost though.
Yeah, there would be a cost.
It would be.
Okay, so we need any other discussion?
Yeah, one thing, since we gonna be over here, will we have access to getting in to, with our beds, get us in over here?
To this
Yeah.
conference room?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. The Pretrial Services knows that we can utilize this conference room.
Okay, I'm talking about even if, say, my committee, the committee, when we meet,
Oh, yes,
we
sir.
have access to this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other discussion, any other questions?
Does the executive director have a cap on monies that you can spend without commissioner approval?
It has never been formalized, so what I have done is I've just operated based on our financial assistance guideline, and that gives the discretion of the director up to $2,500 for financial assistance requests. Anything beyond $2,500 has to go through the board. I've operated on that. I actually would like the board to give clarity on what dollar amount. I bought, pretty much what I've done is any big purchases, the printer ran through this board. That was at $10,000. Did it need to? That's at the discretion of the board. The laptops, 4 laptops that were $1,000 to $1,400 a piece ran through this board. I think that'd be helpful is asking this board clarity on what dollar amount the director has to purchase any necessary office equipment supplies.
I'd like to make a motion that we.
There's already a motion on the floor and it's already been seconded.
You're right.
Just the,
Well, we can vote on this and then
And then
we
come back
can,
there.
we can revisit that.
just a comment tangentially, it's not directly affect what you're presenting, but is there some reason why Hamilton County has moved our move-in date maybe 3 or 4 months later than what the original plan called for? It's a brand new building, they
Well, I
don't.
know, but we gotta vote on this motion and then we can,
I can provide.
this is not,
This is discussion about the
No, it's
moving,
not.
yes, it is. This is a discussion about the movement internally based on the fact that we are not moving.
Here's a quick answer, Madam President. They said that they extended the lease for the current tenants in the Mercy Health Building. So the lease has been extended and then has also pushed the renovation timeline to the right.
Thank you.
all right. Is there any other discussion on this motion?
Yes. I really don't understand why, we're in the weeds, about 4 cubes in a conference room. We got more important things to do. So my suggestion is that, the governance committee look at a discussion on put the limit together for you, and bring it back to the commission to approve. And if we get out of your way and let you do your damn job. So, thank you.
All right, is there any other discussion on this motion? If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Parks is absent, Mr. Rowland,
Yes.
Mr. Stanford,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Mr. Watson.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
and I recuse myself.
Was there the motion that you wanted to make, Commissioner?
But what we're gonna do is do it through the government board. When I get the committee together, that would be one of our first, agendas on our agenda.
All right.
To do that authority.
Yes, sir. I've got one last item, Madam President, is, in your packet is this, it's titled Montgomery County Veteran Service Commission Position Description. To the board members that were at the last, County Veteran Service Commission quarterly meeting in Columbus. For District 6, Montgomery County Commissioner, briefed this, position that they had created. It's called a Community Health Worker Self-Sufficiency Coordinator. I've looked into it. I've talked to Director Frisco from Montgomery County. I'd like us to actually consider bringing someone on board for this new position. Twofold reason. Number one is that this position is written so that the main job of the staff member is to do follow-up to all of our veterans. Right now, there is no system for following up as a whole veterans that are seeking either financial assistance or claims, and then connecting them with any other entity that may be of future assistance. I'd like us to look into bringing someone whose sole job will be to follow up with our veterans. Of course, our current staff could take that on, but right now their current duty is to service veterans in the office and then move along to the next veteran, especially because we've got a lot of veterans both on the claims and financial assistance side coming in. So asking for an approval to create this new position called Community Health Worker Self-Sufficiency Coordinator. My advice is to find someone who's highly skilled in social work, and then model the position description based on this position description of Montgomery County. The second reason is this coordinator would also service as a receptionist as well. Our current receptionist is planning to retire in the summer, has given adequate notice already to me. So instead of us bringing on a full-time receptionist only as a backfill, we instead look to this coordinator to serve as receptionist, and then also our current backup for receptionist, which is our secretary that we brought on last quarter or this quarter. So I'd ask for a vote to approve the creation of this position.
Madam President, the executive director already has the authority to do that. he doesn't need the board's permission.
Well, the only reason why I asked that is because it seems like there's been discrepancy with commissioners on what actual authority the director has when it comes to hirings. Can the director create new positions that have never been created before? Secretary is one thing, we've had secretaries in the past. So a point of clarification, there is an argument that the director already has this authority. But for those that disagree, I think this is a good time for us to get on the same page.
This motion was made in the December meeting, and it was clarified in the December meeting that you do have that authority, because I was the commissioner to question it, and then we made a motion and clarified it, that you do have that authority. It's not necessary that you give you authority you already have.
So I would counter that it is a new position, never before been in this. So we have given the director permission to hire. This is not anywhere in the employee policy manual book like our other job descriptions are. This would be something that is completely new. So I would say it would be at the.
Oh, Mr. Sanford, I brought this motion up about limits on what that hiring authority was, and you corrected me and said this board intended to give them sole authority to do that. And my questioning involved creating the position, budgeting for that position, writing a job description for that position. All of these questions came up in December. And this board considered what I raised as issues, and they said, no, you have full authority, and you have it. There's no need to modify it at this point. You already have the authority. I mean, it's nice that you're informing us, but you didn't inform us about the secretary's position. You didn't inform us about the new transportation part-time hire that you'll be hiring. None of that information came to this board, yet you have full authority to do it, and I'm just telling you, you have full authority to do this. The board gave you that authority. We delegated that authority to you, and you have it.
The question has been answered. Thank you, Director.
All right,
Madam Secretary.
before,
Madam President, I'm sorry. This certificate of recognition goes to Veteran Service Commission of Hamilton County, not to me. So I'd like to pass this around to you. And also, they were kind enough, let other questions speak. They were kind enough to allow me to attend their board meeting last week. And I can tell you that they're very professional and well run. Good organization. I think Steve has attended one of their meetings at all before in the past. Commissioner Sanford attended one of their meetings. They're a good organization.
very nice.
Good organization.
Okay. For those who are here, our next board meeting will be March the 12th, 2025 at 10 a.m. I will entertain a motion to move into executive session to review financial assistance applications for the period of 1/1/2025 through 1/31/2025 in pursuit to ORC 121.22J and 5901.09.
Motion to go move to executive session.
Motion to go in executive session.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, yay?
There should be a roll call. vote.
Yeah, we roll out.
Oh, I'm sorry, because it's financial. I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henn,
Yes.
Ms. Parks is absent. Mr. Rowland.
Yes.
Mr. Stanford,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
And
We'll now move into executive sessions. All right. So I will entertain a motion to accept the financial reports.
I'll make said motion.
Second that motion.
Second, take roll call, please.
Roll call now.
Mr. Henn,
Yeah, he said yes. Yeah, I think I.
Sparks is absent. Mr. Rowland? Yes. Mr. Stanford?
Yes.
Mr. Ware?
Yes.
Mr. Watson? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes. Is there any other business to come before this meeting? If
Yes,
not,
I do have business. I do have business.
I said,
All right, Director, you received a letter back from the courts, did you not?
Yes,
Okay, would you mind telling the board what that was? You've notified the rest of the commissioners.
yeah, and you've gotten a copy of that as well from the court, and the board has been informed of that.
So you actually had a round robin discussion with all other 7 board members? That would be the correct answer, because that's exactly what happened. If you have discussions with each individual commissioner, that's a round robin meeting.
I don't know what you're talking about, Commissioner. I talked to,
Again, that would be in the sunshine law. Maybe you should get one. I can have one sent to your office for you.
you're asking a question, permitting me a chance to answer the question.
I already know the answer. You had discussions with each individual commissioner separately, which is in violation of the Ohio sunshine
I
laws.
believe you're talking about a serial meeting. A serial meeting in the Sunshine Law is when you talk to an individual board member and you relay what one board member talks about to the other board member, then to the other board member. That is a serial meeting. That's a violation of Sunshine Law. The director talking to each individual commissioner, not relaying.
Actively
I'm
exclude one
answering your
commissioner
question. I'm answering
is a
your question.
violation.
That is not.
This has to be done in public.
The director anyone has the discretion to talk to each individual board member.
On the same subject.
Talking to one, not talking to the other, happens all the time in other boards. It's not a violation of the law.
But you specifically pertain to one topic of discussion with the other commissioners, correct?
If you have further questions, I direct your question to the chair.
I'm directing them toward you.
Yeah, Madam President. Back to you.
Secondly, Madam President, this board voted to send a letter to the court. That motion was satisfied by sending the letter. It is not an issue that the board and whoever wrote the letter did not follow the law when submitting the request. So that satisfaction of that motion has already been satisfied. So nothing else can be done without another motion. Third, after consultation with the court, this is a appointed public office, this position. That is not up for discussion. It is settled court opinion and numerous attorney general opinions, which then puts Ms. Parks in violation of the Cincinnati City Ordinance. So there is that. Thirdly, if you're going to have bring up charges on me, you guys are going to have to vote for it in public on which charges, and you can't exclude me from those meetings. That's all I got.
all right, is there anybody else have anything else they want to discuss? If not, I'm sorry, go ahead, Lee.
I'm wondering here what Commissioner Stanford just said, and I think he's misapplying, maybe not, but I feel he's misapplying the law. The restriction is upon the commissioners who form the board of commissioners. Mr. Director Bonder is an employee of the board. He is a member of the staff. I'm not so sure that those provisions about commission members holding being authorized, unauthorized, does not apply. I don't believe that they apply directly to a staff member having a meeting with anybody. I think it's a restriction on the commissioners themselves.
You cannot withhold information from one commissioner
I agree.
when the rest of the commission has been informed.
But who does that apply to? Does that apply
Well,
to
since he's
the
part of our public meetings,
But
he
he's
is
not-
bound by, he is still bound by the Ohio Meetings Act.
But he's not a commissioner.
He's still bound by the Meetings Act. It doesn't matter whether you're the commissioner or not. It's a
Well,
state law.
That was my concern.
Okay, all right, is there anything else, any other discussion? Motion to adjourn. Second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I do.
Those opposed, same sign, motion
We
carries.
get over what the topic to Bill, don't find that we
Bill?
Yeah.
Huh?